Oh yeah, we're live. We are live. Hello, hello. This is Real Talk, Real People. This is going to be a quick one, actually. I'm sure you guys have been inundated with the news. Very interesting turn of events, but can we say that we didn't see it coming? With the way the Supreme Court has been formulated and the rumblings and the leaked Supreme Court decision, Roe versus Wade was officially overturned. And as a result, there are many ways we can look at what has transpired. Um, we can look at some of the reasons why we think this happened. We can speculate. I'm going to give a very interesting position on this. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Definitely don't forget that. You want to like, comment, and subscribe. Definitely love engagement. But I'm just going to kind of tell you guys how it is, right? Because this is Real Talk Real People. And me, personally, I can't be any other way. So let's go ahead. I'm going to share something with you guys. So let's go ahead and just take a look at some. I'm going to just change the screen graphic. And then I'm going to give you my take on this. So as you guys currently see, that's the Twitter. That is the Twitter background, and Twitter, as you guys can see, is blown up. It's blown up. See a lot of signs. Roe today, tomorrow, contraception, same-sex relations, same-sex marriage vote. Yeah, I mean, Clarence Thomas has already, and many others have already talked about looking at a couple of other things. So this is one of the first times that rights were given and then taken away. Now, some would argue, oh, look at that, breaking. Abortion rights activists returned to downtown LA. They were there yesterday. Yeah, we can have this playing in the background. Fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use. Maybe we'll have it playing with no sound. That way they can't get us. But yeah, there's ongoing protests right now. Now, there's tons of speculation as to why this is happening. But like I said, let's give you my understanding here. So let's look at this. Roe versus Wade. Now, there are tons of benefits, tons of cons to something like this happening. But this is the first time that rights have been given and then taken away. Now, we can say that Roe versus Wade was not codified into the Constitution, so it was always on the chopping block, so to speak. Now, what was going on prior to Roe versus Wade? Prior to Roe versus Wade, you had an American society where people were, for better for worse, accountable for their actions, right? Now, there was a situation where there were births happening that women did not want. Now, a lot of them engaged into crude and endangering methods of terminating their child, the fetus, whatever you want to call it. And oftentimes it was at the danger of the life of the mother. It can cause future infertility. There was a whole bunch of issues. I guess it happened so much that the Roe versus Wade case got escalated to the Supreme Court, and there was a ruling on it. Now, we take a look at before Roe versus Wade. You had a child, you took care of the child, for better, for worse, so on and so forth. Now, Roe versus Wade talked about abortions, and there's many different reasons to have an abortion. Now, are some of the reasons acceptable among society? Some are, some aren't. It really just depends on the circumstance. But what we do know and what we do see is how it affects certain groups of people. So let's look at abortion in the fact of the black market application of abortion. So, as a lot of people may know or may not know, when a woman has an abortion, it's it's a procedure that's done. It's usually a same day procedure. So you have it and you get sent home. But does anyone ever wonder what happens to the material of the fetus, of the baby, of the cells that are left over? Do they just throw it away? Of course not. Oftentimes, depending on how many trimesters there have been, how long the baby's been developing, the child's been developing, it may have arms, it may have limbs, it may have none of that. It may just be a clump of cells. But that fetal tissue, those fetal cells, there's a black market for them. They're often sold for, which you can see my hands, air quotes, research purposes. But other than that, research, there's a black market for this stuff. A lot of the stem cells, where do you think they get them from? They're not just cloning them all. There's a market for this stuff. So that's something a lot of people don't really look into, or rather really care about. But it's something that with this ban, it's going to tamper down on significantly. Now, not every state has abortion restrictions. It's just with the Roe versus Wade being overturned, you now have certain states that have automatic bans that came into place, that are coming into place within the next 30 days. You have ones that have automatic restrictions the moment that it becomes a states' rights issue. And that's all that's happened as of yesterday. This has become a states' rights issue where states determine what if they want to allow abortion or not. Now, what does this mean for the average person that or woman that's looking to go ahead and get an abortion? Well, it means if you aren't in a state where it's legal, then you're going to have to go to a state where it's legal. You'll have to incur a cost for that, whether that's a plane ride, bus ticket, so on and so forth, lodging. It's going to become way more expensive to have an abortion now. So that's depends on the state. So the question one must ask themselves in a very clear sense: Are you going to start? Are you going to start looking to change where you live, to have the open option to have abortion, or are you going to? And when I say that, change the laws of where you currently stay, are you going to up and move to states that are abortion friendly? These are some of the things that people have to think about. There's some folks that had appointments to get abortions that this happened yesterday. They need to now rethink and replan some things. So it's interesting how this has all turned out. Now, let's take a look here. Now, I talked about the reason why this ruling has happened in the first place. So there's something you should know if you don't already. The birth rate for amongst white people has steadily decreased beyond below replacement. A lot of industrial places across the world have seen lowered birth rates in industrial nations, where you're seeing higher birth rates in non-industrial or mid or low tier industrial nations. But specifically in white culture, they have a birth rate that's been below replacement. And this has caused an issue. Now, why is the birth rate below replacement? Is they're not having enough kids? Perhaps. Or is it maybe that the face of abortion, which is often shown to be predominantly non-white, is actually incorrect? Perhaps the group that has the most abortions on the low or reported or unreported seem to be the society with the birth rate that's the lowest or that's declining significantly under replacement. So how do you how do you keep the face of abortion minority and promote births in your society? How do you keep the blame for abortion? Sorry, not the blame. How do you keep the perception of abortion away from yourself? Well, you get laws like this struck down. You get Roe versus Wade struck down. So there, you don't have to admit that your society is having too many abortions to even replace itself. And then you can still say, scapegoat other minority groups and say, well, look, they took away abortion rights for you. This is going to be really bad for you. You need to go ahead and fight this battle. So basically, in summation, what's happening is they went ahead and struck down Roe versus Wade to increase the white population. Now, it's a calculated risk because it's going to increase all other populations. But the level of replacement is so low that it's worth the risk. I assume there's going to be some other intended and unintended consequences as a result of this. But that's something that you're having. Now, we often hear about Planned Parenthood saying that they host a whole bunch of other, they don't just do abortions. They do a whole bunch of other women's health things. But is Planned Parenthood going out of business? That's a good question. Who knows? How much funding, how much of their bottom line is doing abortions versus providing other services for women? That's something we'll have to actually look into, because it could very well be something like that. It could very well be something like that. And you have so many, it looks like I'm looking at here, on the Eyewitness Live video page, I got this is Dr. Matthew Miyaga, has his pronouns, director of the UCLA Center for LGBTQ Advocacy Research and Health. What is he doing? What is he? I think, it's interesting how certain groups use the rhythm, the locomotion of other people's struggles to codify and secure their own rights. And then when they see the rights of others that they piggybacked off of start to erode, they get very scared because they understand that their rights weren't original or weren't grassrooted on something they created their own, but it was off of someone else's. So yeah, I guess if you are in the LGBT community or scared of same-sex marriage going away, all these other rights or things of that nature going away, yeah, I guess I would be a little worried. And that's why these groups need to not try to tie their movements to other people's, like the civil rights movement or all these other movements or these black movements or any of these other movements. You need to make something on your own and have that stand on its own. You know what I'm saying? So that's interesting to see that type of response come from them. But let's continue down here. The convenience of having abortion, as I indicated, it's going to cost a lot of people. I believe it's still going to be, you can still get an abortion in 32 states, I think. That may or may not change. We got the midterm elections coming up. Even with this happening, I still think Democrats are going to have a hard time because people care. It's all about priorities. People do care about having the right to abortion, but people also care about being able to live. They care about inflation. They care about gas prices. They care about being able to buy a home if they're just getting out of college or not even in college, just working a trade or just working at McDonald's or, upward mobility in society is the most important thing. They're worried about war. They're worried about all these different things. This issue is probably going to get buried, but you know what it does do? It provides good cover to take our minds away from growing gas prices, growing inflation, war, all these different things. So I think they're going to really play on how they're saying conservatives are the boogeyman here for your rights. But we also got to look at the situations and if these rights were supposed to be ours in the first place and how we fight and shape our rights and protect them. So we're looking at um, placation, right? So what we have here, you see all on these some of these live streams. You see a lot of you see a lot of white women, uh, people of all races, right? But you see basically you see a lot of white women, like a lot of white women out here, um, very very upset that they can't get abortions. A lot of them were getting abortions, right? A lot of them. They want the ability to abort. Now, whether one thinks that's right or wrong, it was a right that was given to them when Roe versus Wade happened, and it's not a right that was codified. It's not in the Constitution, and it was taken away. You know, this is how these things happen. Should one have the right to terminate a pregnancy if it's not, uh, adverse to the life of the mother, whether that's through living, whether that's through rape or incest or anything like that. It's a very nuanced issue. My organs are not public property. My body, my choice, right to privacy. Billie Eilish, ban off our bodies. And the Democrats are going to use this. They're going to try to use this because this happened in LAPD. LAPD is known for violence. But yeah, you're seeing all this stuff. Dang. They tripping. They tripping. But someone had a birth control earring. Wow. Oh wow. Oh wow. So that's if anyone's seen the show Handmaid's Tale, that's what that's from. In his eye. Man, that's interesting. Great show if you haven't seen it. It's on Hulu. It's literally about women's rights being taken away, the country having a civil war, and half the country, I'm not going to give it away. But anyway, good show. You should watch it. All right. So, but this is what we have to think about. These votes, there's this idea that white men and white women are at odds with one another. And I think to some degree, a lot of groups are at odds within themselves. But there's this whole battle that we're seeing in the news for women's rights, all this other stuff. It's basically the battle between white men and white women. But one thing we're seeing is when these battles come up, you see all these other groups get brought into it. Quote I'm not going to say minorities, I'm going to say ethnic groups. And they start to champion the talking points of white women or white men. And then they get used as pawns to either promote or dismantle certain obstacles or certain things in society, right? We saw that with the feminist movement and how black women got on board with the feminist movement that pretty much destroyed among other things, destroyed the black community. So it was white women's fight with white men that black women started championing and destroyed the black community. And the white women, for the most part, they're still in a cohesive situation with their men. It's like, I'm going to go here and start a fight, and then you help me in the fight. I leave the fight and watch you still fighting the fight that I was in before. It's It's a weird kind of dichotomy, and maybe not everybody's going to agree with me on that. But all you have to do is look at history and see what's happened to the community and what hasn't. So it's something worth looking at. But basically, it's all a ruse. When it's down to it, when it's about survival, white women and white men, they're gonna work together. They are a cohesive unit. They have issues just like everyone else, but they are race loyal and they're gonna do what's best for them. So yeah, this isn't. A lot of people are unhappy. Half the country is happy, half the country is unhappy. But a lot of people are happy. A lot of people think there's going to be good that comes from this. Now, another question is there going to be a child support overload? That's a good question. Is there going to be a child support overload? Will this spur, you know, more child support, more babies? Is it going to spur more marriage? These are questions. These are honest questions. Let's see here. All right, so let's go over some of the benefits and some of the cons, right? So some of the benefits to Roe versus Wade being overturned is no more abortion/murder. Now, if you are a person that believes abortion is murder, if you're a person that believes conception is the point at which cells dividing, starts growing, it will grow into a baby, conception is when life starts, then you're really happy. No more abortion, no more murder, because you consider that murder. No more abortion. It's a great thing. More children get to be born. Population gets to go up. Sorry about that. Population gets to go up. More life, more chances, more innovation. There's a part of Bob Marley. There's a Bob Marley song. It was I Shot the Sheriff, and he says a part in I Shot the Sheriff. They said kill them before they grow. He said kill them before they grow. And I was thinking about that, and when Bob Marley said that, this immediately came to mind. Kill them before they grow. Think about it. It's like a seed. It's like you plant a seed, and then you strip the seed. You get rid of the seed. You kill it before it grows. And let's face it. I mean, that's life, you know. No more child organ harvesting, as I alluded to earlier, with the black market for fetal tissue, fetal cells, things of that. No more of that. That's pretty good. I mean, there's always going to be child trafficking and stuff like. Well, I don't want to say that. Let's hope that comes to an end. But it's not going to be babies, right? It's not going to be fetuses. It's not. It's not going to be that. So it's going to put a tamper on that tremendously. Which these aren't bad things. Not murdering, not getting rid of life. There's nothing bad about that. We shouldn't be killing in the first place. That's just me. There's literally nothing bad about that. Now, obviously, people believe in the case of incest or rape. Oh, okay, those are exceptions, absolutely, but they happen less than like 1%. So you got the other 99% of people using this as retroactive contraceptive, which is absolutely crazy. The power of life and death shouldn't be in the hands of one person. It shouldn't. It shouldn't be. The woman has the choice to kill the child. A decision like that should not be in the hands of one person, unless there's specific exceptions that 99% of women don't qualify for. Now, with this, there's going to be more of a focus on birth control and a more focus on choices. So men and women are both going to have to make better choices in the people they decide to have sex with and lie down, nut in, and let being nutted in. They're going to have to make wiser choices. They're going to have to be more accountable for their actions. They're going to have to stay up on their birth control if they want to do that, or become abstinent. Good luck on that one. But we have to take accountability. That's what it boils down to. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, this is going to be from a standpoint of view, this may spur on more marriages. This may spur on more stepping up from the man's standpoint of view of either getting married to the woman. Like I said, if you guys are vetting each other, you're being accountable, you're not lying down with somebody you don't want to be with, perhaps this is going to spur more marriages. Perhaps it will also spur more child support. Maybe you'll support more stepping up. But I think in this coming day, with inflation and things being what it is, it'll maybe spur people to stand together and actually create more families than anything else. It gives you the ability to raise your child and put your values in your child. So that's an interesting perspective there. Now, here are the cons, because there's cons to everything. Perhaps more children, but not more families in the Black community. So maybe there's more children born, but are they being born to two-parent households? Are they being born to actual families? Mother, father, children. Are they being built? Are more traditional families being built? Is more legacy and wealth being passed down? Are all these things happening? Or are we just going to have more children in these makeshift, non-families, non-traditional family units? And is that good for the community? I don't know. I don't know. No more paying to make it go away. That's a con. So, again, no more retroactive birth control. No more. You can't. You. This is literally a decision that you make, and there's no paying to make it better. I mean, obviously, you can, fly. That this is under a scenario where all the states ban it, but you just have to travel. It's going to be a way more expense to incur, and maybe makes you give second thoughts. And here's the last con, which is admittedly way out there, but I thought I'd put it on the record. What if, tinfoil hat here, what if this abortion ban has been finally passed, because what they're doing is they're creating alien human hybrids. So to keep people from destroying the alien human hybrids, they put an abortion ban. I know that's weird, but strange, interesting. We'll have to see. Now, this is somewhat popular, somewhat unpopular ruling. We had a gun control ruling, gun ban ruling. We'll have to talk about that. There was the Bivens case, Border Patrol case ruling, which was somewhat problematic, which pretty much indicated if you live on any of the border states, Border Control can come up, kick in your door without a warrant. It's crazy stuff. From 200 to 300 miles from the border is really weird. So Supreme Court has some L's and definitely some W's, so we'll have to keep our eye on them. But as I said, this was going to be a short one. I just wanted to get this one out here. This is Real Talk, Real People. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you think, hey, I'm way off base with this. Let me know. If you think that other stuff is going on, if you think that, that guy's on to something, let me know as well. But as always, keep it real and have a great day.